Hello, thank you everybody for joining us today. My name is Rhonda Anstead, and I will be giving a short presentation on using technological innovations to provide opportunity equity to students in career courses. And so I basically want to start with an update. So first of all, let me share my screen. And so so me and my partner, Carla Johnson at the College of DuPage, have been working together on using my career design studio as a way to provide opportunity equity at the College of DuPage. And, um, and so when we first started, our plans were to, well, we actually did implement at the College of DuPage a pilot project to test how the use of my career design studio could affect student outcomes. And so as we all know, things have changed dramatically since January 2020. And so when we started, 3 sections used my career design studio, while the other sections teaching the career course use the traditional methods of career assessment and textbook. And so when COVID became a force to be reckoned with, then at the College of DuPage, all the courses went online. Originally, our pilot had been a mix. Some had been online. Some had been part of the pilot had been taught through face-to-face, and with all the classes going online, that did impact student participation. But even more than that, we were not able to access and analyze the data that we were collecting on the pilot project in time for this presentation. And so when the College of DuPage shut down, like so many of the colleges and universities in the United States, there was just no way to actually access that without going onto campus. And so by the time we were able to get the data, and then our ability to analyze it and write it up for this presentation, we just didn't have enough time. And in addition, the rescheduling of this program meant that Carla is not able to join us for this presentation. And so we are still collaborating and working on this together. And so what we have decided to do instead is to write up the findings and in an article, and our hope is that this will be published through Career Convergence so that everyone has access to it. But the actual data and the lessons learned will be available to anybody who wants that. And we anticipate that will happen by the end of September 2020. And so what we decided to do was to basically give the theory behind our decision to run this particular pilot project. And so that's what I want to walk you through, and know that if you are interested in learning more at the end of the presentation and through the other handouts and resources that you have through this conference, you can feel free to reach out to either me or to Carla to learn more about my career design studio, to learn how we're using it at the College of DuPage, and how students are reacting to it. So I wanted to be very upfront that we are not going to be presenting the results of the pilot as we were expecting to do so during this presentation. And so if that is why you came here, then know that that information will be available. Click on the other resources so that you can sign up to get notified when you have that. And but otherwise, I hope that you will join us as we as we talk about why technology, why my career design studio, and how we really see the interface between my career design studio and opportunity equity in career courses. So let me start with a little bit of background on the College of DuPage. So it is the largest community college in Illinois and the second largest college overall in the state. So there are over 26,000 students who attend on an annual basis. And Carla, in her role as a counselor and as a professor, saw that there were students who were declining career services because the cost of the textbooks, the cost of the assessments were more than what they were able to afford at that point. And so there have been several reasons why the College of DuPage has been looking for alternative ways to engage students. And that is, again, to be able to reach over 26,000 students is not what I would call humanly possible with the career faculty and staff. It's just a very overwhelming number. But also there are, kind of changes in student behavior where interactive programs tend to be more engaging than reading articles or textbooks, and so Carla had been looking for some solutions to meet some of the needs of the College of DuPage. And I myself have been working with, as a private practitioner, for people who are kind of in the social change field, the social impact field. So teachers, social workers, international development, social entrepreneurs, and to work with my clients. A lot of the people who are interested in these fields don't always have the resources to work directly with a career coach. So I created my career design studio as a way to reach thousands of people with solid and well-researched and with a very strong theoretical underpinning on career development, so that people who wanted to make a difference in the world could get the kind of guidance that they needed to make really good career choices. And so when Carla and I started talking, we started realizing that my career design studio might also be a program that could work with her students. So for our pilot project, what we were really looking for was, could my career design studio and the activities in it replace the career assessments and textbooks in the career courses that they were teaching, and would with the result of similar outcomes. So basically how we structure the pilot is that approximately, I think it's about 45% of the courses that were taught were using my career design studio, and the other courses were using the textbooks and the career assessments that they have been using in the past. And the other component of that is, would this technological approach contribute to greater equity, especially opportunity equity? So could students who were incredibly price sensitive be able to get the same kind of information that students who did not have any cost considerations in their journey as a student, to get the kind of career guidance that they needed? So some of the reasons that College of DuPage and other people that I've been working with have been thinking about and working with a technological innovation is number one, there is a really high smartphone penetration. And that means that even students who might not be able to afford laptop or desktop computers, or people in general, often do have access to a smartphone. And so a mobile friendly program that comes with really well-researched career guidance and information could reach thousands and millions of people. And the other reason to try this is that there are cost benefits that in general, a license for My Career Design Studio is less than the textbook plus Myers-Briggs and or strong inventory, and that it does cover really similar information, but at a lower cost to students. In addition, because technology allows for interactivity, there is certainly a lot of research that indicates that that leads to higher engagement, that students are more interested and more willing to work on activities where there is some kind of feedback loop, where there is some kind of interaction, and so that certainly has a lot more potential for engagement than, again, reading a textbook and doing, writing essays. And so, and again, with so many career centers, well, I mean, especially now when colleges and universities are facing a lot of budget cuts, and that because of COVID and because of all the unknowns of when can things get back to to a new normal, that we need to, like like so many other moments and times, we need to do more with less. And so using technology does allow to scale our high touch approach with students to something that is a little bit more sustainable. And so if you do need to work with more students with fewer people in your career center, basically your only option, I'm not, okay, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but one of the best options is a technological approach. It's something that's mobile friendly and something that is engaging, that that students can interact with and learn from, with very limited guidance from career counselors or faculty. So some of the reasons why, and I so wish that Carla were here, and so that she could talk a little bit more to why was My Career Design Studio the product, that the program that she decided to use as a pilot with her career courses. But from our conversations, some of the things that that drew her to My Career Design Studio was that it really is based on career person environment fit, on a strengths-based approach. And so a lot of the just very widely accepted career development theories are integrated into My Career Design Studio. So it is not coming up with a completely new way of thinking about about career development. It is building on what has been shown to be effective. And not only that, but I come from a very multidisciplinary background. And so I have my doctorate in management and I have my master's of social work. And so I'm very interested in both individual and kind of sociological aspects to how growth and development and change. And so My Career Design Studio also incorporates positive psychology, motivation, and gamification research. And the other reason why this is a tool that Carla decided to try was because it is very comprehensive, and that there are over 30 different activities, everything from self-reflection, career assessments, all the way to salary negotiation and beyond. And the other reason is that it was the content and the progression was very aligned with the course curriculum that they had already developed. So basically, there were 2 faculty members who were teaching my career design studio, who were teaching the career course at the College of DuPage, who were trained on my career design studio. And I think that there were 6 or 8 sections that were being taught in the fall and in the winter and spring, and about 5%, let's give me a margin of error of 5% here, would use my career design studio. The other classes would use the previously used curriculum, and that every course, whether or not they were using my career design studio, would conduct pre and post testing to ascertain improvements and student outcomes. So I want to just talk a little bit about what the research and the theory that was used to develop my career design studio. So one of the main components that has been the basis of my career design studio is gamification research. And one of the major researchers is Jane McGonigal, and she wrote a couple of books on gamification. One of them, Reality is Broken. And basically what she, in her research, discovered is that through many aspects of gaming, those components tap into a lot of our natural motivation, and to overcome challenges and to learn and to be engaged. And so some of the engagement components are that when there are some kinds of direct feedback loops, when you accomplish something and you get a little, surprise, or you get a little flash of, a cheer or sound effect or something like that, that does release some dopamine. And that dopamine release is what makes games so addictive, that you're always trying to get to the next level, to see what the next surprise might be. And so and there's been some research on using gamification in the classroom that has shown that a lot of more tedious, more rote and routine types of activities, students do get more engaged when there's a gamification element in it. And so that's kind of the extrinsic motivation that gamification can provide. However, there are also aspects of gamification which are to break down complicated tasks into bite-sized chunks, to have levels build on each other. So you are going from less skillful to more skillful, and the skills that you use from one level to another are useful. And this is really how human beings learn. This is not actually very new or cutting edge research. This is something that we know, that by making big overwhelming tasks into more manageable sections, and by learning skills and capabilities as you go along and being able to use those, that does give people a sense of mastery, and does help people to complete the tasks that they were working on. So that was another reason why, another kind of underpinning research for my career design studio. And then my doctoral research was in how, was broadly looking at how businesses can provide services and products to the global poor in a way that produced positive social outcomes as well as profit for the business. And one of the models that I discovered during that research was that technology, especially mobile technology, was a very effective way of getting services and information to large amounts of people for a very low cost. And so by turning a lot of the information that we have on career development into a gamified program, then that would allow that information, that guidance to, like I mentioned before, serve millions of people. And so that's basically what we were, what was behind the development of my career design studio. And so what I want to do now is just very briefly provide a demonstration. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. And so what you are seeing now is the dashboard of my career design studio. And I just want to go over a couple of the elements to so that you're able to understand some of the gamification, the engagement, the motivation elements that we're talking about, so that you can kind of see the kind of content that is on here, so that you can get an understanding if my career design studio or a tool like this would be something that would be appropriate for you to use in your classes or with your students and providing career advice. Okay, so the first thing that you see is basically what we're calling your career mosaic. And so as students go through the different activities, they earn these tiles. So you can see around the outside, this kind of shows the students' progress throughout the program. Every time they complete an activity, they get a new tile, and that the internal mosaic gets filled in. And this is to help students connect with a idea that's bigger than themselves, with something creative, with kind of building their epic masterpiece. But it's also something where they get a visual understanding of where they are in their progress, and that there is some motivation to complete this, because there is at the end a message that is connected to their Myers-Briggs type that they will only get once they've completed all the required activities. And so that's part of the motivation engagement here. And so as they go through, they also earn inspiration stars, motivation medals, and persistence points. And that allows them, the inspiration stars, they can trade that in for an inspirational quote. The motivation medals, that is basically one way of leveling up as they collect more and more of those. And then the persistence points, that's what allows them to level up here. So at each level, they have a different kind of designer metaphor or avatar. And it's more of a metaphor than the avatar, because the avatar is actually their career coach, their guide, and that they can choose different guides, different career coaches that they want to work with. And basically those are a lot of the gamification elements. Then let's go just very briefly into the content. So what My Career Design offers are these 5 different categories: raw materials, which is the self-reflection component; napkin sketch is the exploration; career design is when they actually start making a decision about what kind of career they want to pursue; and then my career creation tools, those are things like your resume, cover letter, elevator pitch, interview prep, salary negotiation prep. And then my career design portfolio is for them to continue the journey once they get a job, that they can store their resumes and accomplishments so that when they decide to move to another job, that they've got everything in one place. And so everything's kind of given this metaphor of you are a designer, and here are the stages that a designer goes through. You're a mosaic designer, so you start with your raw materials, your personality, preferences, interests, strengths and challenges, and then there's some visioning activities: my 9 lives, my life map, my balanced life, and my ideal day. So these are all different ways for students to identify their values, their goals, their personality, their strengths, so that they build their career on what's a good fit for them. Then the napkin sketch is a place where they prioritize what's important to them in a career, and then match that with some exploration. And then with the career design component, this is where they start doing their informational interviewing, where they start doing research into organizations and job descriptions to see where what kind of jobs are closest to what they're looking for, and starting to build the network and their LinkedIn profile and all of those kinds of things, so that when they're actually looking for work, they've got all their pieces in place, so that they've got a strong network, and they know what they want to do and where they want to do it. And then finally, my career creation tools, those are instructions on how to craft your elevator pitch and how to talk to potential, calling these design partners, but it's basically your network, your accomplishments and resume and all of that. And so just really briefly, there is one career assessment that, although it is fairly lengthy, it does give you 3 different results. It gives you personality result, which is based on the work of Dr. Helen Fisher, who is an evolutionary anthropologist and has done a lot of work on the biology of personality. And so this is here to basically give a different perspective of, here's some of your innate strengths. So after you finish the activity, then you're given a list of strengths, challenges, but also abilities, skills, etc. And the abilities and skills and all of that are connected to ONET values. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. The preference results are Myers-Briggs. So you are given very briefly, kind of what, the idealist, the INFP, and if the students already know that, if they are able to take the assessment ahead of time, then they can provide that information in the system, so that, and that way they don't necessarily have to do the career assessment, although the career assessment is still really useful. But same with INF, same with preferences, you get some what we call career design essentials. So these are the things that you want in your career. You choose, these are the things that are common for INFPs, but then you choose what is actually relevant for you. And that way you start tailoring this and customizing it for what makes sense to you. And then also strengths, challenges, and then work context and work style. So by taking the assessment, you're able to select a lot of different ONET variables. And then the final result that you get are the Holland codes. and for each score that you get, so this is social, investigative, and artistic, again, you select the strengths, the career design essentials, the activities and skills that are most relevant to you. And then once you get to the napkin sketch, you can go to my career design priorities. This is where you actually start saying, here's what's most important to me. So career design essentials, this is what I'm looking for. In a career, you can only have up to 5 have-to-haves. And then, so it's basically 5 have-to-haves, and then everything else is kind of a nice to have or icing on the cake. That's what these little abbreviations, acronyms mean. And so you do that for the career design essentials, but also for the work activities. So what are the work activities that you need to have in your job versus you would like to have? And so as you go through all of those, that really starts helping you to see what's most important to you, and start the process of prioritization. And then when you get into my exploration, then what the program does do is connects you with the careers that most closely connect with your ONET variables. And so, so what we use is the open source data from ONET. And so as the students are actually choosing what's most important to them, then what their types of jobs are kind of narrowed towards their interest. And so these have the same caveats as any other kind of assessment that you take that then gives you jobs. There's a reason why we put this fairly, in the middle of the process, is to really make sure that students are thinking, are not jumping directly to jobs, but thinking about what's important to them and what they are most likely to be good at. And so as you can tell, there's a lot of other information here, but what I really wanted to show you was just, number one, how my career design studio works and how what it looks like from a student perspective. And then also some of the content that's in there and how things flow and fit together. Okay, and finally, what I want to do is go to my final slide and just let you know that, again, our goal was really to provide you data of how did students respond, what were the outcomes, and so that you could see whether or not my career design studio could be a fit for your career courses for your college or university. And we're still working on that. And so if you're interested in getting our results, then you can go to this form and you'll have a copy of the slides, so you can just click on it and you don't have to type it in directly to your browser window. But also, if you're interested in just signing up for my Career Design Studio, you can learn more about it at www.careerdesign.studio. And also on the form, it does give you an opportunity to sign up for some time with me. If you are interested in hearing more about my Career Design Studio, sharing with me what you're looking for so that we can see if my Career Design Studio might be a fit for you. So, so thank you so much for watching this presentation, and I hope it's been useful. I'm really excited to be able, the work that Carla has done has been fabulous, and she's been excited. I'm excited about how this can really help engage students to get more involved in their career development process. And And so I'm excited to be able to share this with you, and really wish that we were face to face so that we could have a conversation. So please take advantage of the opportunity to talk with me directly if you've got any questions, if you've got any ideas, and hopefully we will see you in 2021. So thank you all so much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.